Hi there. My name is Beth Green. That's not you. You're waving your hand, not for you. My name is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks, and this is.
James Maynard, otherwise known as Sweet Baby James.
And tonight, I'm going to talk about, are we more interested in and focus more on improving ourselves or trying to stop other people from getting ahead?
Yeah.
So, I'm going to talk about that. And there's a reason I'm talking about that. And it relates to us personally, it relates to the whole world, it relates to the coronavirus. So I hope that you stick around and watch this show and that you comment and that you like it and do all of that good stuff too. But in the meantime, Sweet Baby James is going to tell you about our show.
You have come to Granny Rocks, where Granny shares her wit, her wisdom, and a very uncommon sense with us every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. Thanks for joining us, and let's stay tuned and hear what Granny has to say. And feel free to chat with us, to make comments, questions, and we'll try to respond to them during the show. And also after, Granny will answer all the different comments that come in after the show.
Absolutely. So it looks like we already have something. So.
Yeah, Tracy says hello.
Hello, Tracy. Glad to see you. Okay, it's great when people say hello or when they comment on the topic. So I want to tell you what got me on this topic tonight. By the way, I know my hair is getting more and more outrageous all the time, but see, we haven't been able to have haircuts in, I don't know, what is it, 7, 8 months. So anyway, I like it. I'm beginning to look like, a rock star. So I
Granny
do
rocks
look
on.
like, exactly. So anyway, we live in a small rural community and we have like a Facebook page thing. And on it, I saw a woman who's usually complaining about something. And she was saying why she doesn't want unemployed people to get the extra $600 a week like they have up to this point. And she said, she's in essential services and she's going out there and she's risking her life and blah, 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 blah. By the way, there's very little coronavirus, thank God, where we are. It looks like we already have another comment.
Another comment from Karen.
Ooh.
So good to see you both, and I love the hair. You look like a kid. Makes me smile.
Oh, okay.
Underneath it all, you are a kid.
I am. I really am a kid. So anyway, wonderful to see you, Karen. So tonight, I don't know if you know that we're talking about, are we more focused on moving forward or stopping others, or on stopping? I wrote mooring others instead of moving forward. Oh well, it'll be a mess. So what, right? So anyway, so she was writing on the bulletin board, right, about how she was really pissed off that people wanted $600 a week more in the unemployment check because of what she was going through. And people are lazy, and she said, oh yeah, people should have saved hundreds of dollars every week out of that unemployment check, and then they wouldn't have anything to worry about. Now it's just going on and on.
And Elizabeth says hi, by the way.
Hi, Elizabeth. So, when you think about it, it's crazy. You know why that's crazy?
Why is that crazy?
Because if people don't have money, they can't buy the goods and services that you are selling. Let's say you own a little store and your store is open to the public and all of that, but nobody has money to come into your store and buy anything. So then what happens? You go out of business, other people don't get their needs met, right? Right? So, or you can say, well, I work in a hospital and that isn't going to happen to me. Well, actually, it could. If people don't have medical insurance, hospitals could go under. It's just so narrow-minded. It's like, oh, I want to make sure that you don't get $600 a week, even if you need it, because I'm suffering. Rather than, gee, maybe I should be making more money too, or something like that. But do you understand the principle of what I'm saying? Is like, if people don't have money, they can't buy goods and services. we are on the brink of an economic catastrophe right now in this country, and while the government is dithering around, especially one party, I have to say, is completely dithering around and doesn't want people to get that extra money because they're afraid people are going to get the extra money. They're not going to want to go back to work. Like, you've seen that? I haven't seen that. Anyway, so that really bugged me, and that's what really made me start thinking about this question, that this woman would rather to keep everybody else down rather than finding a way to improve her life. So even though it's very short-sighted. Now, I'll give you another example that may be closer to home. Let's say I'm the older sister. By the way, I am not the older sister because I don't have a sister. Well, I am older. No, I am younger than my brother, but I don't have a sister. Anyway, I'm not the older sister. So my sibling is growing up, and oh my God, she's going to be prettier than me. Or she's going to be smarter than me.
Make better grades.
Make better grades. How can I keep her down? Rather than saying, why is prettiness so important? Or can't I love the way I look? Or am I having trouble in school because I really don't belong in school? It's not really where my heart lies. Or am I having trouble in school because I'm not studying? Well, then study, for God's sake. So why are we focused on keeping down the other person? This happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
James, we have a couple of comments here.
We do. Artemina says, Buenas noches, which is good evening. Cuidance del COVID.
Oh, she's saying take care from the Buenas noches, which is good evening, and take care of yourself against the COVID virus. Gracias.
Gracias. And Lars says, thank you, Beth. Much love to you and James. Keep spreading messages that need to be heard.
Ooh,
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Laura. So it has happened to me. I don't want to admit that maybe I have also suppressed people who were coming up. I don't know that. I probably have. But I know that I have been suppressed a lot in my life because people felt threatened by something I was doing, music or intelligence or something. And it's kind of sad. And I'm going to talk about the why in a minute. It's very, very...
Laura has a comment.
Yes.
We need to accept ourselves as we are and focus only on moving forward and grow spiritually.
Exactly my point. You've got it. You've got it. Now, let's say you have a store and it isn't very good. It's dirty or it doesn't have a lot of stuff. And then there's another store, opening up down the street, right? You're going to do everything you can. Oh, zoning! Or you don't want to go there or whatever it is, right? Well, maybe your store needs to improve, right? Maybe your store needs to improve. Or maybe you shouldn't have a store because you have no talent for it. A lot of people are doing things they have no talent for, and so they're threatened by anybody who does have talent. So why do we do this? And, racism and sexism, my God.
Keeping others down so that you can maintain your position.
Exactly. Keeping your, quote, privileges instead of moving ahead. Why, don't you think it would be better if the young black people who go to prison at a young age never get an education, never have a chance in life? Wouldn't it be better for them to go to Harvard or to go to college?
Or even a great, public university for free.
Public university. But I mean, there was a study that said that it costs more to keep somebody in prison than it does to send them to Harvard. So that's why I mentioned that. But, it's like we spend a lot of money oppressing people, don't we? And a lot of energy oppressing people. Now, if those people actually were tapped, their intelligence, their skills, their heart, their power, that would be a great thing for our nation because we would have more people who were doing vital research or who were running businesses that help people or who were creating charities or whatever it is. Actually, I don't want to create charities. Take that back. I don't want to create charity. I want everybody to make enough money so that we don't need charities. But using our collective intelligence to help. Now, I'm going to give you a very clear example of this. As Sweet Baby James was saying earlier today, competitive sports. See, this is one of the models we have of life. It's like a zero-sum game. You either, you're winning or you're losing. That's it. Those are the only choices. So it's like, well, if it's a choice between winning and losing, I'm going to win. But think about it this way. Supposing we were building a bridge, wouldn't you want everybody who is working on that project, every engineer, every worker to be well fed, calm, competent, because together we're building a bridge. See, we don't have that attitude towards life. That together in our world, we are building a better world, and we need everybody to pull together in order to do that, to use all of our resources. I mean, I know that I grew up with quite a bit of anti Semitism, and
Directed against you, not you being anti-Semitic.
no, exactly, directed against me and my family, and certainly the Holocaust and so on. And so, a lot of times it was like, oh, the Jews are doing this. What? What? The Jews are running the world. See, it's all envy. Looks like
Okay, we've got some more comments.
Yeah.
Jose says, God bless you, Mama and Papa. Now Hurricane Isaias is in Puerto Rico and on the way coming to Dominican Republic. It is very windy here.
I am sorry to hear
Hang
that,
in there,
Jose.
Hang in there.
Yeah, we hope that you can hang in there and don't get those hurricanes. Can be so frightening.
Stay safe.
Yes.
Amy says, I love this topic. Thank you so much. Love to you both. She sends 2 hearts.
Thank you, Amy. So glad to see you, and I'm glad that you're loving the topic. So this is a poison in our world. So you can see how it can take shape in a marriage. Oh, I want my wife to stay home and bake cookies. I don't want her to discover that she's actually the great next poet, right? Because then she may not bake me cookies. It's so much more important for me to have a sugar OD on sugar than it is for her to be happy and for us to have a happy marriage. Or maybe she'll discover that I'm a dunce or that she thinks I am. Well, then get out of that marriage if your wife doesn't respect you.
Or I don't want her to make more money than me.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, right. Like, it wouldn't be better for everybody to have a little bit more money, something for retirement. You see what I mean?
Well, so much of that is in a couple of relationships. So often, one of the people wants to be in the one-up position and keep the other one in the one-down position, and so that plays into exactly what you're talking about.
Absolutely. So part of it is we have the zero-sum game. So it's like the sports analogy, But the truth is that sports doesn't have to be that way, but that's the way we make it because we come from a very competitive culture and society and worldview.
Yeah.
But the world isn't like that, and unless you make it that way, and you see, if you build into competitive sports that there's only one winner rather than everybody is working together towards the goal of getting the basketball over the hoop and we all there's
into the hoop
or into the one of those things, right? Or that we're all coming together to develop a coronavirus. We're not in competition with each other, but see, if money is involved, oh boy, it's like, oh, we want to win, we want to win, we want to win. We don't want them to get the secret. We don't want them to get the contract. We don't want them. Everything is competition, competition, competition. So that's sort of like we put a lot of energy into sabotaging one another. And I want to say another reason for that is not only have we been brought up that way, and is that built into our society, right? Leaving us not enough choices, where there's only one president, right? But there's lots of other people around, but they all have to be from one party. Right? The other reason is that we're insecure. And this goes back to what James was talking about in a marriage. If you see your mate, your friends, another race, beginning to develop themselves and beginning to find their way in the world, and you feel like you don't have it, you haven't got what it takes, you're going to focus more on suppressing them than you are going to be building yourself up. And isn't that sad? But you could think, well, what am I talented in? And give it value. It's like Laura was saying about accepting ourselves and valuing who we are and valuing our spiritual growth. If we say, you know, this is my gift and I'm good at this and I value this and I want to build on this, and maybe I also want to try some new things that I may not be good at, but how wonderful it is to try new things and see that as a value, is to stick your neck out, right? But if you don't see that you have anything, or if you keep trying to compete in an arena that you're just no darn good, right? Then you're always going to be trying to suppress other people instead of build yourself because you don't have any faith in yourself. And then you can also ask yourself, why don't I have faith in myself in this arena? Is it because I really have nothing to offer? Is it because I was so incredibly suppressed myself when I was growing up? Is it because somebody was holding me down because they felt threatened? And how many times have we seen this when a parent might even be afraid that their child is surpassing them? Either that parent could try to hijack that accomplishment and say, look at me, look, my daughter, my son, but this or that or the other thing, and that it's all about you, right? But a lot of people, they don't really feel that way. They may feel threatened by their children's accomplishments or intelligence because they feel bad about themselves. So they may not admit it, but on an unconscious level, they could try to suppress you, or a sibling, or even a teacher, or even your best friend. So this happens all the time. Well, this could lead to some very serious problems. If you have had something like this happen to you, and it happens a lot, then you are going to lack self-confidence from the start. And you may have to try to develop it yourself. You may work really hard on it. But if that feeling of confidence in yourself or value in yourself is not cultivated at an early age, it's going to be harder for you to develop it later. Or you may be discouraged from doing the thing you really are good at. Let's say you have a parent who actually wants you to inherit their business, right? We've seen this so often. Chip off the old block, right? My son did this or my daughter did this. Well, that may not be what's right for them to go along in your path, but you're too busy trying to prove yourself that you're not even looking at that child. And the child may not even realize themselves that they're in the wrong profession, or they're in the wrong kind of relationship, or they're gay and they're trying to stick themselves into a heterosexual relationship, or so on and so on. So people are messed up by this. We can lack confidence. We can be doing the wrong things. And it's never too late to look inside and say, where is my gift? How do I develop it? I know that in today's world, with the coronavirus and the economic precipice that we're all on, and so many people are shortly going to be facing eviction from their homes as our government does nothing. At the same time, let us just take a breath and take the opportunity to ask ourselves, what are my gifts? What am I good at? what could I be developing in myself that maybe I could even make money doing, or that would just give me joy as I am still in lockdown, as many people are going to be, or find yourself nurturing parts of you that you don't even know exist. Like maybe, sweet baby James, you really would love sewing.
Hmm.
I know that's pretty far fetched. But you just don't know. You see, if you were never encouraged to consider sewing, or you actually like cooking, see, if you've never been encouraged to do things that were not in the mold that you were supposed to be in, then you may be missing the biggest gifts you have. Invest in yourself, or gardening, or really so many different things. As the more that you feed yourself and nurture who you really are, the happier you are, the more content, the less you need to put down other people. So, is there anything you would like to add or share, James, to what I've said tonight?
Well, looking back on my own life, having grown up as a very competitive person, I was constantly trying to keep my brother on the losing end in all the different competitive things we did. And so I can see now that I was really trying to suppress him. So I feel badly about that, but that's the way it was. Fortunately, he had enough drive, and when he was away from me and away from the family, he went on to be very successful. So, yeah, and this comes up in our relationship, where I see you developing musically, say, and I'm a musician as well, and you're really going after it, and I'm not going after it as much as you, so I feel resentful or want to slow you down or whatever, you know. And even if I'm not conscious of that, you feel it on a subconscious level, and that's no good because it weakens you, and it's not healthy for me, and it creates separation between us.
Speaking of music, well, first we have a comment,
Oh
honey.
yeah, Jack says thanks for that wise advice! Exclamation mark.
Oh, thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. I didn't know if I was going to offend a lot of people, but oh well. You know, if I really appreciate what you said, James, and so we've seen this is in personal relationships, this is between races. We want all people to have the opportunity to advance themselves and find their gifts and make their contribution and have enough money to take care of their needs. I mean, wouldn't it be better for everyone to have a home, a safe, happy, clean home in an environment where we didn't have a lot of pollution, rather than trying to shove people into the corners of society where they have the worst deal all the time, which damages their brains and damages their potential, and then we lose them. We lose what they have to offer.
Here's another comment from Elizabeth. I can see how I put down my co-workers because at times I feel insecure.
That's a wonderful realization, Elizabeth. So, after this show, I would like you to think about, are you on the receiving end or are you doling it out? How many of us are still trying to suppress others and don't even realize it? And how many of us have been suppressed? And what can we do together to feed and nurture everyone in our world? With the coronavirus and the economic catastrophe, just like we're right there, this is a time for people to get the money they need in order to take care of themselves and their families, feed themselves, pay their bills. Oh my God. You know, life is hard enough without that. So I'd like to remind you that on Thursdays, Dreams of Peace, I play the piano for everybody. And I do it at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So you're invited to come and
To this very same
to this
Facebook
very
page.
Facebook page and just kick back and listen to Dreams of Peace, where I hope to help everybody be in a more peaceful and positive place, so we can actually start nurturing ourselves and one another and build that better world. And don't forget to come back here next Wednesday. And anytime you come is fine with us. I always ultimately answer your comments. We appreciate the loves and the likes, and we particularly appreciate the shares. So without any further ado, we want to say bye-bye and thank you so much always for being with us and supporting this program and the ideas that we are trying to promote.
Bye-bye for now. Till
Bye.
next time.
Bye-bye.